Mastering Insulin Strategies for Type 1 Diabetes Success. Hi, and welcome back to Type 1 Nation. In today's video, we're diving into insulin strategies, the cornerstone of effective Type 1 diabetes management. Insulin is powerful, but managing it isn't as simple as just taking your prescribed doses. It requires understanding how it works in your body and using that knowledge to predict and control your blood sugar. Today, I'll walk you through the 3 key insulin strategies that have transformed my diabetes management. By the end of this video, you'll have actionable steps to fine-tune your own insulin use for better results. Let's get started. Step 1. Basal insulin. Basal insulin is the foundation. Its job is simple: to keep your blood sugar stable when you're not eating. But here's the thing. Getting it right takes some testing. Here's how I dialed in my basal insulin. I started with a baseline dose. For example, let's say 24 units per day, which is 1 unit per hour. Then, I fasted for the entire day, drinking only water. If I noticed my blood sugar was dropping all day and I had to correct lows, my basal was too high. If I stayed high all day, I knew I needed more basal. The goal is to adjust your basal dose until your blood sugar stays flat when you're fasting. I personally aim to stay around 100 mg/dL. Once you've nailed this, you'll notice much better stability throughout the day. Step 2. Insulin duration and timing. Now let's talk about insulin duration and timing. How long your insulin is active in your bloodstream and when it peaks. This is especially important after bolusing, so you can predict when your insulin will start working, when it peaks, and when it tapers off. Here's an example. I use Novolog insulin. Through testing, I learned that my Novolog peaks exactly 1 hour after I bolus and leaves my system fairly quickly afterward. This knowledge is crucial when I eat because I want to match the insulin peak with the peak of my food absorption. For instance, let's say I ate pizza an hour and 10 minutes ago, and my blood sugar is spiking. I know the peak of my insulin has already passed, so I'll need to take more insulin to cover the remaining rise. To test your insulin's peak, the next time your blood sugar is a little high, say around 200, take a correction dose you believe will bring you to 150. Track how long it takes for your blood sugar to start dropping and when it levels off. Do this a few times and you'll learn when your insulin peaks and how long it stays active. Step 3. Bolusing and pre-bolusing. Now let's go deeper into bolusing and pre-bolusing. This is about matching your insulin's peak with the absorption rate of your food. Think about the difference between eating a handful of Skittles versus a steak. Both require insulin, but the timing couldn't be more different. For fast-acting foods like Skittles, I usually pre-bolus 30 to 40 minutes before eating. These foods hit your bloodstream almost immediately, so you need your insulin ready to act as soon as they do. For slower digesting foods like steak, it's the opposite. Protein and fat take much longer to convert to glucose, so you may need to bolus hours after the meal instead of before. The key here is to experiment. Test different foods and bolusing strategies to see what works for you. Over time, you'll develop a sixth sense for when to bolus and how much insulin to use. Bringing it all together. Mastering insulin is about 3 things: setting your basal insulin to keep you steady, knowing your insulin's duration and peak so you can predict its effects, and fine-tuning your bolusing and pre-bolusing to match your food's absorption rate. When you combine these strategies, you'll have the tools to keep your blood sugar more predictable and stable, no matter what you eat or do. What's next? If you found these tips helpful, make sure to subscribe to Type 1 Nation. In upcoming videos, I'll dive deeper into each of these topics and share even more actionable strategies. Together, we can take control of diabetes and live confidently. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.